How many of you want to be chosen to be a blessing to someone else? You want to do that? Well, that's what. And guess what? We have a visitor today. We do. Who is it? Well, it's Pastor Rick, and he's here to tell us all about how we can be a blessing to others in the world that may not have as good a life as you do, Ollie. Can you welcome Pastor Rick? Hi, Pastor Rick. Welcome.
Thank you so much. And this is Ollie. And Ollie is an otter.
A river otter.
A river otter from right out here. I mean, did he live out here in this river?
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I live right out here.
Good to meet Ollie today.
Well, nice to meet you, Pastor Rick. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to have everyone stand up at this time. Can you all stand up at this time? Please stand up. Now, I have already heard you sing, and you sing beautifully, and you're a great bunch of kids, but I want to hear you speak loudly and clearly. There's going to be a slide that comes on. You're going to be watching. Oh, the slide is already there. Okay? Can you say this all at one time when I say 1, 2, 3? Can you say that? Loudly and clearly. 1, 2, 3. Kids helping kids at Riverside Christian School. Let's do that one more time. Can we do that? 1, 2, 3. Kids helping kids at Riverside Christian School. Excellent job. Please sit down. I want to tell you a story that when I was a kid, I was riding a bike, and I was riding in the middle of an intersection where two streets come together, and as I was riding, I ran into another kid on a bike, and we were coming home from school, and our books and papers just went all over the place. And I skinned my knee, and as we were there in the middle of this intersection, and we're just kind of laying there kind of dazed, there was a little girl off to one side on the corner, on the curb, and guess what? She came out and she helped us pick up and I was like 12 and she was like 8. And she came and she helped us pick up our papers and our books. She helped us. As kids, we can help other kids. Now, we're going to be watching a whole lot of slides this morning, so I'll get out of the way. This next slide, take a look at it. Do you know what that is? What is it? It's the coronavirus, COVID-19 coronavirus, and it's been tough, and we've really struggled through it. It hasn't been easy, but there's certain kids in the world, in different parts of the world, that have had it a whole lot tougher than us. You see where some kids live, those aren't tents. That's just plastic. Those are plastic tarps, and they live in those plastic tarps. And kids, they go to sleep, and they never get warm. They never get warm. They're freezing all night long. There's some kids that go to sleep hungry, and there's some kids that never have enough food. There's some kids that get sick. And we know about getting sick, headaches, stomach aches, flu, where you just feel like you've been run over by a truck. Any of you relate to that? Yeah. Some kids get sick and they never can go to a doctor. And then look down at your shoes. You got pretty nice shoes on. There's some kids that there's some kids that go around barefooted. There's some kids that go around in horrible, horrible, horrible looking shoes. And there's some kids that never get their clothes clean. And your folks, they've got washers and dryers, and you look pretty good today. You guys, you look pretty good, and your clothes smell clean. There's some kids that never have their clothes washed. There's some kids that have no adults in their life to care for them and love them. What would it be like if you didn't have anyone loving on you? You got all these wonderful adults, teachers and parents and uncles and aunts and grandparents, everybody loving on you. There's some kids that never have adults in their life to care for them and love them. There's other kids that have no school to go to. You have a great school. This is like an awesome school. It's just like an incredible school. There's some kids that don't have schools to go to. They're not learning anything. They don't have a school to go to. And as a result, there's some kids that have no friends. What would you do without your friends? There's some kids that just don't have any school. They don't have any friends. And you look at these kids, and they don't look. Let me see. I need to have someone really give me a face. Give me a face.
It actually looks like they're sad.
I want to see a sad face. Sad face. Yeah. There's a lot of kids. Okay, let me see a happy face. Yeah, okay. Nice happy faces. There's a lot of these kids have really sad faces, and they have sad faces all day long, their whole lives, because they don't have anyone to help them. We've been talking about all these kids that have no houses, and they have no food, and they're hungry, and they when they go to sleep, they're cold at night. But today, we can help those kids. And remember the first slide we had up on the screen? Kids helping kids at Riverside School. You kids can help all these other kids that don't have any houses, that are sick, that don't have any food, that don't have any school, that don't have any friends. You can help them. And look at these pictures. That's what the kids look like on the left. That's the same kid. Can you believe that? It's the kid on the left and the kid on the right, same kid. Look at the one on the left, and now the one on the right. The one on the left, and now the one on the right. You kids can help change them from the sad faces to happy faces. When changes like that happen, everyone smiles. Every sad face becomes a happy face. Now, how can it happen? We've told you, we've given you the whole picture. There's a lot of kids that are really sad in life. How can you help them? How can you change a sad face to a happy face? Do you get on a plane and fly around the world trying to help kids? You can't do that. When you're 6 years old or 10 years old or 12 or 14, you can't get on a plane and fly around the world and help people, but you can take baby steps. Can any of you remember back then, when you were a toddler? You can take baby little steps. You can do tiny little things that if everyone does it together, a tremendous change can take place all over the world. And you can do it by, and this is, gotta listen, you can do it by collecting a little bit of money. Do you see that? 30 cents. That 30 cents is a nickel and a quarter. 30 cents. And what does that, you say, well, what does that 30 cents do? I'll tell you what that 30 cents does. That 30 cents can feed a kid one meal. That is amazing. 30 cents can feed a kid one meal. And you can see the smile on the face. In the next slide, you can see another smile on the face of these kids that have smiles because they've been fed and they're not starving anymore. So here's the deal. So look at the next slide. You see this slide with coins, and you can collect spare change. And a lot of you in your homes have spare change, nickels, dimes, quarters. There's spare change all over. You can collect spare change, and look at those kids. Wow, that's more than change. They've got $20 bills. Yeah, lots of money there. But you can have a jar at home, and you can collect these little coins to help these kids have food, have a place to live. And so, there's a lot of these kids that are living in those little tiny tents that are all plastic tarps. They can have homes like this. That's pretty good looking. That's a home on a lake. That's a pretty good looking home. And I think there's one more slide there of a home. Yeah, that one didn't look quite as good. But anyhow, you can help these kids have homes, and you can help them have adults in their lives, and that they can eat, and you can see them eating lots of good food, and everybody smiling, everybody happy. Some of the table manners aren't quite what they should be, but that's what can happen. And there will be adults in their lives that will care for them. And you can see that's me and my wife and a couple of our kids. And I think there's another picture of my wife there. That's my wife loving on our little daughter. She lives down in Dominican Republic, down in the Caribbean. And then there's another lady that has another child. And then, let me stop here for a second. The lady on the right rescued this little boy. He was in a boat with his mom and his dad and his grandma, and the boat capsized. The boat sank. And his mom and dad and grandma didn't make it. They didn't make it. But he was able to swim to shore, and this lady rescued him. This is a dramatic story. So anyhow, by saving a few coins, you can help rescue people too. And they will be able, all these little kids will be able to have parents that love them. They will be able to have faith in God. They will be able to go to church and realize that God loves them. They will have school. They will have. They'll be able to play at recess and enjoy their friends, and they will have lots and lots of friends. Look at this next picture, right there. Look at the smiles. Look at those smiles. They'll be able to go to school and have friends. How will it all happen? It begins with a few small coins. There's a handout that your teachers are going to give you, and it's a picture on one side of a jar of coins, and it's on the other side is a picture of that little slide that we had, kids helping kids at Riverside Christian School. And I want you to take that home. You're going to get that handout today. I want you to take that home to your parents. But let's stand one more time. Can you stand one more time? Everybody stand. This is the end of the chapel period. Stand. And I want to hear you loudly and clearly read that when I say 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Kids helping kids at Riverside Christian School. You did that amazing. Please sit down. If they allow me to come back again, I will bring a surprise. And I want to tell you how some kids collect coins. And this is going to be the end of my time at chapel. But there's a group of kids that have found a really incredible, fun way to collect coins. And it's a little video. We'll show that, and then that will end my time here today.